project, the purpose of this public hearing, and the agency's next steps. When Shannon is finished, I will open with the public hearing for comments. I'd also like to introduce at this time.
The project consists of the following. A1, the acquisition of an interest in 4 parcels of land containing an aggregate of approximately 56.94 acres located at Lucas Avenue and Walton Lane and at 198 Heritage Drive in the town of Hurley, Ulster County, on Walton Lane in the town of Rosendale, Ulster County, New York, together with existing buildings located thereon, collectively the existing facility. The reconstruction and renovation of the construction on the land of certain additional facility and together with the existing facility, the facility, and the acquisition and installation therein and thereon of certain machinery, equipment, and other personal property, collectively together the project facility.
This hearing may be heard. When everyone has an opportunity to speak, I will conclude the public. You have the information, answer the questions, and there is sufficient time to consider such questions. I will now ask if there is anyone in attendance who wishes to comment on either the nature of and the location of the project facility or the proposed financial assistance being contemplated for the proposed project. The proposed project or the proposed financial assistance. This project. Okay, so I guess I'll start with, okay, Terry Lee.
My name is Terry Lee. I reside at 180 Walton Lane, Hurley, New York, diagonally across from the proposed project. I grew up at that project. My father built the house that I currently reside in. Corrections. Since the project began to develop, we've had break-ins. I work in a very individual that broke into the empty facility, who for 3 weeks watching me come and go in uniform from my home. I later found out that he was incarcerated in my facility. He pulled me from training in that individual was incarcerated. Due to the fact that I had previously had a 13-year stalker, whom at this point I do not, nor will I most likely ever know who that individual was. It puts me in a position where safety is concerned. To have such a dwelling, a facility that could be lively and prosperous for the community, as a facility that would continue to bring down the neighborhood and facilitate vagrants like the person. I grew up there. It was a wonderful childhood. I have great memories. I would love to see it develop. I would love to see the livelihood come back. My parents have since deceased. My father built most of that area, and I'm all for the project, and I'm willing to do anything it takes to see it come to life and prosper the community. At this point, I have nothing further to say.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay. Next, I have Lynn Bailey.
It's hard to answer a 26-page application in 2 or 3 minutes.
I know.
This is for you and Hillary. You will permit me to go through my remarks?
Sure. Tell me when you're ready.
All right, my name is Lynn Bailey. I live at 46 Walton Lane. I have a detailed commentary on the application for incentives, which may have made previously was that it appears it doesn't align with the special use permit issued by the town of Hurley, which specifically approved a cabin development, not a vacation resort. Because the site plan has 114 parking spaces allocated for 58 units in the last iteration, or 52 now, 12 employees, and a restaurant. Floor area as shown on the table for 45 parking spaces. It does not have any parking spaces for event. The application shows that they have event space to accommodate 440 people. Hard to estimate it because I don't know the square footage, but as a public assembly use spaces. So there's very limited property available to add parking spaces. And I'll leave that up to what's right there. A formal complaint was made to his office Friday. I strongly object to the narrative that this is somehow an eco-friendly project called 7 that blames delays in the permitting process on the New York State DEC. Had the applicant adhered to the instructions of the DEC letter written on February 20, 2019, they would have saved themselves 3 years' time. Instead of complying with the instructions to do a northern cricket frog study, which could have commenced in May of 2019, the applicant, from March 15th to April 11th of 2020, cut and chipped trees in preparation for site work, disregarding instructions from the DEC. The letter clearly stated that a project sponsor may not commence site preparation, including tree clearing, until the provisions of seeker are complied with and all necessary permits issued for the proposed project. Arizona Hudson Valley did not commence the mandated study until May 5th of 2022, 3 years later. So their own behavior cost them a 3-year delay. So how can one be environmentally friendly when removing all the trees as required? The hillside will be dug up to install water, sewer, electric, cable utilities. Over 1,500 feet of 24-foot wide roadways will traverse the hillside, which was formerly pristine and undeveloped. That's where most of the units will be. 33 of the 52 units are on that hillside. Many species will lose habitat. Contrary to Mo Living's stated principle of land first design, quote, we build around nature, not through it, embracing topography, minimizing impact, and maximizing beauty. This project is just the opposite. To the first major question of the matter for the IDA, but for, would this project be undertaken but for the agency's financial assistance? The applicant replied no, and if no, they're asked to describe why it's necessary. They replied that unforeseen challenges significantly impacted its financial feasibility. Their expressed consternation that we had to permanently forego development rights over 30% of the site, resulting in a substantial loss of usable land and project value, is baseless. The overwhelming majority of that land is a swamp, designated wetlands, and a New York State wetlands with a 100-foot buffer zone. At most, the applicants would not be able to locate some future nebulous plan for 8 pop-up tents or domes. This represents a tiny fraction of the project. It's even possible that the conservation of 22 acres actually increases the value of the project in some eyes. The constraint would have no effect on the planned scale and revenue of the project. The applicant further claims the constraint also materially impacted their pro forma and ability to secure financing. How can that be? They've got $25 million sitting there in a USDA loan waiting to be used, still available. I dare say, though, that the project was never meant to be particularly profitable. This is primarily because of the high infrastructure costs involved. To understand my statement, one needs to take a step back and review the history and status of Mo Living. Founded in July 21, 2017, described on pitchbook.com as a manufacturer of movable hotel units designed to offer sustainability, durability, modularity, and luxury. The company offers hotel units that can be constructed in months versus years at a fraction of the cost of traditional hotels, enabling clients with nomadic hospitality units pop up anytime, anywhere.
So Mrs. Bailey, if I can put you back on the track here, okay?
This goes to employees.
Okay, we're getting a little far off here.
Well, this gets to their employees. They created this company, then they went out to look for a place to put these trailers, and they came to Hurley. So that was their mission. That's their passion, to get these trailers out in the world. During a meeting, I'm seeing the site plan, but this is the area that the cricket frogs conserved. None of their site has been affected by that conservation decree. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And this is my package. I think I gave you all yours. This is all for already. There's also in here the letter from the DEC and their timeline for when they, which they submitted to the ZBA of all
Okay.
the actions they were taking to complete the project.
All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So next speaker I have is Jordan. Jordan, I'm going to allot you the same amount of time if you need it, okay? So, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Yeah, I seen perhaps. Diana, would you like to speak? I would. Sure, come on up.
So my name is Diana Klein. I live a mile down the road at 420 Fairview Avenue, but born and raised in this town. Love this town. I was on the planning board when this project came before us. I was on the planning board for 20 years up to 2023. We loved that project as a planning board. We had no opposition. We had public hearings. There was no problem. And COVID hit. I'm so sorry that Jordan hasn't been able to get this project rolling. I've seen one of the prototypes. I thought it was great. And everybody loved Twin Lakes. That was an event where he had weddings, he had, large amount of people coming off and on. He had the pool that was open to the public all summer. So we had, all summer long, there was people outside the town. You didn't have to be in the town to have that pool, because my aunt lived in Kingston. She'd go there every day. So we loved that, and we just thought this was a good alternative to that project. So I just want to let you know that the planning board had approved it. We liked it. Sorry that it hasn't gotten going yet, and anything that you could do to help him to do that would be great for me. I'm, like I said, lifelong Hurley resident, and would love to see that project here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, Jordan.
I'm going to try and make this short. Jordan Mann, representing Arizona Hudson Valley LLC, that is the owner of the site at 198 Heritage Drive, which I can start by saying has nothing, absolutely nothing in ownership to do with Mo Living itself. And everything that you see in that package has to do with Arizona Hudson Valley LLC, which will have its own employees. So whatever's written in the document that was provided to you guys, including the high salaries, are employees to that site, attached to that specific company, on that specific site. If you would like, Ms. Bailey, a lesson on hospitality and on structuring, I'd be more than happy to provide it to you.
Where are their offices going to be?
Okay, we're not going to get into an open debate on the floor, please.
As mentioned, these employees will be on site with offices on site, nothing to do with New York. Those employees are employees of Mo Living, the operating company, and that is our C-level suite, which has nothing to do with this site specifically. Couple things to mention, just because I have to write this down, whether it's parking table or compliance with the SUP, we're currently in compliance with the SUP. If there's any issues, building code enforcer is actually in the room here. And if we have, as a matter of fact, part of that SUP, if we have any violations, they have the right to remove that SUP from us, which would be years of work, basically, to be able to obtain it. Including as well, part of it, one of the conditions is compliance with the DEC, which we are in compliance with. We actually, in April, Ms. Bailey, which is the town clerk, and I'd like to put this on record, has sued us multiple times, lost every single time.
You sued me too.
Yes, absolutely.
Just to...
But as we got sued, by Miss Bailey and Miss Citron, we ended up basically winning those lawsuits and weren't right in regards to the development itself. If there's any issues, we'd be more than happy to take it up with the building code enforcer. That is his jurisdiction, whether we are in the right or not the right. But so far, seeing the multitude and years of back and forwards, we've been in the right to do what we are doing. Concerning tree clearing, yes, we've cleared some trees in 2020, but all in the right time frame to do so, and under the actual amount that you need to be able to get a permit to do so. So everything we've done is by the book, and if we had any issues, we would have been cited. This has been a high-profile case for the town of Hurley. And there's no doubt in my mind that the building code enforcer or anyone from the town of Hurley would have complained then, and we would have gotten violations for such actions. I also find it sort of interesting that Ms. Bailey is misquoting me on things. I'd love to see where she's actually getting this information from. I did not interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me. Thank you very much. When we're doing this project, we could not get a loan from the bank to do a $35+ million project if it was not a profitable business. I'm not in the charity game. We are here to make money, but at the same time, our business is about an ethos, making a town better while also making ourselves better. So ourselves better could be monetary, making the town better could be making a good project where we have a defunct piece of real estate for the past 7 years that has been vandalized multiple times, and the board is more than welcome to come visit the site at their convenience to see how bad the site is until we start construction. We've been delayed 7 years on this site. That's 7 years of taxes that we had to pay when we projected paying 1, maybe 2 years of taxes before this project was actually built and generating income. So we're coming here to request from the IDA support so we can get this project off the ground, do it in a proper way, by the book, with the right actors, meaning working hand in hand with the town, with the building code enforcer, for example, or whoever else is part of the building department to do a proper project. Might I remind the board that this is a $35 million project, which I believe is, don't quote me on this, is one of the largest projects of the town of Hurley, which would generate $16 million. $16 million of sales tax, of hotel tax, or transient tax, whatever it's called. Occupancy tax, thank you. This is a lot of money, and we're coming here because we believe it's a fair trade to have some assistance from you guys to get us off the ground, and us then giving back to the town in form of all these taxes. So thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to your deliberation on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. So I have one last person that signed up, but no, but I'm going to ask anyway. Paul, would you like to speak?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. So if there's no further comments, I will now close the public hearing. It is 5:39 p.m. and thank you all for attending.